No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select 1 team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. All from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RopePaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? Good morning, Boise State fans. Welcome on in a live edition of Bronco Nation News Live here. No, I was not late for the folks on the comments saying we were late. The stream started right at 9 o'clock. And also, if we're being completely honest, today's co-host is getting a couple things done in terms of some shots over there on the other side of the stadium, and he'll be in here just a second. So we were waiting for Jay Tust, but the stream started at 9 o'clock. We were not late. So hopefully you guys can hear us. Let us know if there are any sound issues. We're doing another outdoor broadcast here. There's a chance that it could rain on us. It's a little cloudy today. We'll kind of see what happens here. But again, we are outside the indoor facility. I thought it made sense to be over here and show this as the background today, where here in about a half an hour, the Boise State football team will have their first Inferno practice of fall camp. We're going to tell you about that, hear about that. We got a lot of fun stuff on today's show. Jay Tust is going to join me shortly, and we'll hear from the defensive coordinator, Erik Chinander. We're going to hear from Tyler Crowe. We're going to get Jay's thoughts on the quarterback battle in fall camp to this point. So a lot to get to. Again, we had record viewership yesterday. So if you're back after finding out our channel yesterday, we really appreciate you. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you can, youtube.com/Bronco Nation News. If you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on X, we do ask you to switch over to Bronco Nation News. I kind of have a cool announcement that I'm just going to throw in there right now. I'm using some new technology in terms of the this little stand that I have right here. So we are going to attempt for the first time this year on the pregame shows for road games, which means Georgia Southern and Oregon to kick it off. We are going to attempt to do our pregame show live from the field before the game. So sometimes we have to do it in the press box. Sometimes we have to do it way earlier in the morning. But our goal right now, if the cell phone signal is good enough to stream it on the field, which is always iffy with a lot of cell phones and a lot of people in the area. But we are going to attempt for the Georgia Southern game to be on the field pregame, showing you some of the warm-ups behind us and things at Georgia Southern, and then we'll try it again at Oregon. So we will see what happens with that. But that is our goal. Now that I have a little stand here and a better setup, and we've figured out how we think the signal is going to be good enough for some of these games to tether it from our phone, we are going to take our chances for that first game of the season and see how it goes with doing the pregame show live from the field in Statesboro as the Broncos are getting set to play Georgia Southern in the first game of the season. So stay tuned for that. But Jay Tust will be along shortly. Again, we are in the Western Collective Studios. Again, the mobile Western Collective Studios here outside of the indoor practice facility where the Inferno practice is scheduled for today here at about 9:45. We'll tell you about that here shortly. But again, Western Collective, highly recommend Due West. I told you guys about it earlier, and it's an unbelievable spot. Me and my wife went there over the weekend. Highly recommend Due West, our studio sponsor, American Fine Dining. It is really nice. It is elegant. It's a cool spot. We had the table-side drinks made right there. They roll the cart up and make the drinks right there for you at your table. We had just an unbelievable meal, so I highly recommend Due West. Go support the sponsors. Check them out. They're a new sponsor. We want to show them their advertising is working. It's part of the Western Collective group and part of, obviously, the Horseshoe Golden Ale, what Carrie's doing there. But if you use this QR code, you get a free appetizer and a free dessert. You get both, a free appetizer and a free dessert if you use this QR code and book your reservation through here. So check them out, Due West, American Fine Dining. And again, highly recommend checking it out for a nice date night with the wife. And again, we have this cool promo and they can track it. So let's use it and let's fill it up using the QR code there. You can also go to our website, click on the right rail if you're on the desktop to the logo with the QR code and do it that way. Or I did put it on my Twitter account a couple days ago as well. So again, record viewership yesterday. We really appreciate everyone that checked us out. If you're new to the channel, we do this every morning around 9 a.m. talking Boise State, football, basketball, whatever is going on in the Boise State sports world. So we do it about, I'd say 45 minutes or so at 9 a.m. Every day. So then we'll have pregame shows. We'll have postgame shows. So selfishly, we believe that BNN here is kind of the comprehensive spot. When you throw in what KTVB is doing, what KTIK is doing, our partnerships and things, we're thinking that this is a great spot for you to start your morning every day if you're a Boise State fan, if you're a college football fan, and we can't wait to get the season going. Another announcement that I made yesterday on social media, but I want to formally welcome Brad Bedell. Boise State, former Boise State offensive line coach Brad Bedell has joined the team at BNN. He's been doing some shows with Rid and shows up on some of the post-game shows last year, but we have agreed to terms contractually. We'll be paying Brad now. He's officially part of the family. Thanks to your subscriptions and thanks to your support, we continue to add to the programming here at Bronco Nation News. And that means Brad Bedell, his first appearance will be tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., my new co-host on Wednesdays is Brad Bedell. And then every home postgame show from the James, we will have Brad Bedell and Kent Riddle on the postgame shows. So very excited to have Brad Bedell join the team. Make sure you're watching on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. for Brad Bedell. And speaking of shows, tonight, Riley and Rid presented by Jackson's. They will be live at the James Kitchen and Bar tonight. If you want to come up, sit on the patio, hang out, listen to the show live, have some food, we would love to have you join us. There's just some tables nearby. You can sit, you can listen to the show, and we would love to have you join us for Riley and Rid tonight. The show is much better with questions and interactions. It'll be streaming on YouTube at 8 o'clock tonight. If you cannot make it, live. Make sure you watch the show at 8 o'clock and bring your questions and thoughts. Riley Smith, Kent Riddle. We are super excited about the Riley and Rid show. I've even got a new intro for them ready to go on tonight's show as well. So, again, Riley and Rid, and that'll be 8 o'clock tonight, presented by Jackson's. Make sure you check that out. Let's see. We got 19 more days. Let's see. Interesting choice to have Brad in the morning when he won't be cracking the Coors. How do you know that, Nate? No, just kidding. He's a great guy, great stories, great. I know when he was here, he got a little, the O-line coach is the easiest coach to blame. And he got a lot of flack, I guess you could say, for, some of the things that happened with the O-line, but a lot of it wasn't really his fault. So, I think that he's, when you hear him talk, he knows football. He's funny, and I think Brad Bedell is going to be a huge addition to our team. Adding Bedell was the kind of juice needed. Yeah, excited for that. Again, Jonathan Belknap, I saw your interview with Zion Washington as he supplanted Tubner. He has not supplanted Tubner. He has supplanted Rodney Robinson, it looks like, in terms of a starting spot at the safety position. So certainly Tubner is going to get a lot of playing time, and I think that Rodney Robinson, at least initially, is going to be the guy that is the odd man out. We'll bring in our man, Jay Tust, sports director at KTVB. There he is. How are we doing, Jay?
Oh, good, man. Just dipped inside the indoor before the guys got there.
Yes. How's it feeling?
It's about 98 degrees. I don't know what the humidity is, but the walls are sweating. So we will be in there sweating soon at practice as well.
Turn your mic down just a little bit.
This is Inferno Day. I don't know if you've gone over it yet. Sorry.
We briefly mentioned we were doing Inferno Day. I have a clip. I actually asked Erik Chinander about it yesterday. I do have a clip I wanted to play. Before we talk back, we can talk ahead. The Inferno Day, getting ready for Georgia Southern.
Yeah, it's this is what they do. They do this usually just once a year, but they're going to do it twice. They're going to do it this week and then again. Basically a week from today, I believe next Wednesday will be another Inferno Day. And Spencer Danielson's very confident, said they put a ton of work into this and ton of research went into this. And they're not just going to do just one, they're going to do two. And, it's interesting, BJ, because I got to say, I think that we've already adapted to it. You're going to walk inside and you're going to be like, oh, it's actually not crazy because they've had a number of kind of almost mock Inferno days because of the smoke outside.
Yeah.
And whenever they go inside, they do try to crank the heat up and at least try to simulate what's outside. And so the difference from today will be the humidity. They hang hoses around the facility. I didn't realize that. I just thought like they woke up today and it was like, hey, crank the heat. We'll throw some hoses out there.
They watered it last night.
Yeah, this is almost a 2-day process to get this practice facility ready for the Broncos, who in turn are trying to get ready to go down and face Georgia Southern.
Yeah, it's a whole deal. And again, they water the field, then they literally spray each player with water as they walk in and just get them as wet and as thick as possible.
I got a little too close to the fire, if you will. Right when you walk in, there's seriously somebody right by the door squatting that is just spraying everybody down. And so I didn't get any type of warning there. And got a little too close to the fire, if you will, this morning inside the Inferno.
And again, the whole reason for this is the humidity and they're in full pads again today. So second straight day in full pads, third out of 4 days in full pads when you throw in the scrimmage. Mm-hmm. And they're getting to that middle part of fall camp. They're starting to get a little sore. They're full pads and it's super hot and super humid and they're sweating and the ball's slick and it's going to be what they face at Georgia Southern. And I remember a couple years ago, like Brian Harsin would kind of be secretive about it. We wouldn't be allowed to talk about it. And it's like, oh, really? That's going to scare UCF that they're getting ready for this, or Florida State or whoever. But in that
Louisiana Lafayette,
that was one they were a little like trying to tell us we could come watch it. We couldn't report about it. But I mean, everybody points to that Florida State game, but it is pretty real there in the second half. Boise State pushed forward, and you saw a lot of guys cramping up, and Florida State kind of when they blew that lead.
Don't you remember Florida State's head coach after that game came out and said,
Willie Taggart.
Yeah, he admitted that Boise State was the better prepared team, whether it came to dealing with the heat, humidity, the hydration, all of that stuff. It was Florida State that was suffering on the back end of that game, not Boise State, who had to travel all the way across the country to play that contest, the last-second switch, all of that stuff. And so it kind of seems silly, it might seem silly, but this really does help Boise State prepare for game day. And like we said, they're not doing it just once this year. They're doing it twice this year. And one of those days is today. Lucky for us, BJ brought a bunch of Gatorade and the electrolyte infused
I
kind.
thought Johnny
that's like
was
special
bringing that
good.
for us. Jaden,
Is that him?
We'll text Jaden on the way and make him stop. But here is Erik Chinander, Boise State's defensive coordinator, talking about the Inferno practice.
I don't know, like from a scientific situation, how it helps, but it helps you get acclimated to it. It just kind of shows you what it's going to be like when you're down in the heat and you're down in that humidity. So it's a good thing we do it, just to show those guys like this is a real deal, and it's going to be hot and it's going to be sweaty down there. So just to feel it one time, I think is good. You don't want it to be the first time you ever feel it to be on game day.
First time you feel it, you don't want it to be on game day. And again, I know some people think it's kind of silly, but like Boise State's done this every year. Yeah. It's tried and true. And I would imagine other schools do it. I don't know if this is something like traditionally like only Boise State does, but I mean, it sounds silly, but it does pay off. It seems like.
If you think it's made up, like look at the times that Boise State has gone into these environments and it's worked. You brought up Florida State. We go back to Louisiana Lafayette. Was that 2016, I believe? I think it was 2018. Now, either way, whatever. Anyways, it worked for them then. And I got to say, man, do you remember that game? Like, did you go down to the field for that game? Or
Which one?
Louisiana Lafayette.
Yes.
It felt like the turf was trying to melt your inner core the moment you stepped on it. Like I've never. That was like that's the worst it's ever been for me. Anywhere Boise State has ever gone, it felt like your shoes were almost melting to the turf. Like I don't mean to be like too extreme here, but it's the truth. I can't imagine running around for 3.5 hours in those types of conditions. But Boise State, I mean, they put it on the Raging Cajuns that day.
Yeah, somebody said they couldn't hear Chinander. I don't know if you need to turn it louder, if it was quieter, or if there was an issue. I was going to play some more Chinander, so hopefully that's not an issue. I apologize if there was. But Jay, I do want to hear from Chinander. General defensive thoughts first. We'll try this again. But general defensive takeaways for you for fall camp so far.
Oh man, I've really been I've been trying to like temper some of the things that I feel like I see, because I know you're only as good as you are, not necessarily what you put on tape, but what you put on tape against somebody else. Like it really is kind of hard to truly evaluate and make a really bold prediction when these guys are going against each other every day, and that's just the way that it is. But whether it be offense or defense, man alive, I feel like this team is deeper. I feel like this defense is in a position to make a big jump. I think that for me, you look at can Marco Notriani stay healthy? And I think he's a big piece of this thing, BJ. If you go back and you kind of project out Marco, like when he was playing last year, if he could stay healthy for a full season and be that starting middle linebacker,
yes,
the dude will put up 100 tackles. Like that's his projections would show that. And so if he can stay healthy and do that, he's going to be awesome. We all saw what Andrew Simpson can do last year when utilized correctly. He can wreck games. Ahmed Hassanin, same exact deal. I think for me, it comes down to somebody like Jaden Virgin Morgan. And I know we've talked about this. I just think that now, like moving forward, I know that all summer we talked about the most important players and had that whole list. I think Jaden Virgin Morgan might be the most important player on defense. And that's just because, like, Ty Benefield's going to be a stud. Andrew Simpson's going to be a stud. If Marco can stay healthy, he's going to be great.
Yep.
Ahmed's going to go get 10-plus sacks again this year. If Jaden Virgin Morgan can be that disruptor at that edge position, then look out for this defense.
And I mentioned as you were walking up, somebody asked about Tubner getting supplanted by Zion Washington. But Zion Washington, I know they weren't afraid even before camp, talking to Tyler Stockton, like Zion Washington, and they're all going to play. I know sometimes too much is made of who is starting, but Zion Washington has done enough to, at least right now, be ahead of a multi-year starter like Rodney Robinson on the depth chart. That says a lot about Zion.
Yeah, I know Ty Benefield's in that conversation too, obviously, and I feel like in the past, BJ, when we've been told, no, we're going to rotate in guys and we're going to do this stuff, like I felt like that was just like almost what you were supposed to say. I actually might believe it this year when you consider the depth at safety, when you consider Markel Reed has been here for a very, very long time, and he is probably going to go into the season opener as that number 2 boundary side cornerback, right? And so just the fact that they're in that position right now, they truly have been able to build some depth here. And, it's been years in the making, and we know what, the last couple of years have been like. So there's credit to, the previous regime that kind of set this up, but even more credit to the current regime that kept it all intact when it looked like it could have fell apart. And now maybe we are, bordering on something pretty special. And I think the defense, man, they got a chance to, maybe be the best that we've seen them in years. And I don't know if that's measured in yards per game allowed or third down percentage or turnovers, but I think that overall this defense has the ability to do all of it. And so 3 weeks, under 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Start to find this out.
Erik Chinander, some good stuff on the defense, how things are going. But first, need to take a quick time out. We're back with Erik Chinander in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers. That includes the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer in the country to support an NIL collective. Portion of the proceeds from each sale of the Horseshoe Golden Ale go directly to Boise State student athletes via the Horseshoe Collective. Western Collective's beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, are available at most major retailers in Idaho. Western Collective, the studio sponsor at Bronco Nation News. Our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. For over 23 years, Rowe Painting has built a name synonymous with excellence in the painting and coatings industry. We serve a diverse portfolio of clients, including residential homeowners and homeowners associations, commercial businesses, general contractors, and industrial site purchasers. All of their clients receive the peace of mind that comes with expert project management, safe, skilled, and experienced painters, and professional-grade equipment. They provide a stress-free experience while solving your painting needs. They've completed more than 11,500 projects, including the back patio and garage in the Rains house, and they can do your project next. Our title sponsor, again, check them out online, roepaint.com. Give them a call, 208-991-0567. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics and the title sponsor of Bronco Nation News, roepaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union has been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. Don't have time to run to the branch to deposit your check? No problem. With Idaho Central Credit Union's mobile deposit feature in the mobile banking app, you can deposit your check anytime, anywhere. See why over 500,000 members love Idaho Central Credit Union. Again, that's 1 in 4 Idahoans. Make the switch today at iccu.com. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Boise State Athletics as the official car and truck of the Broncos and through NIL deals with Jonah Dalmas, Andrew Simpson, Ahmed Hassanin, and Matt Lauder. 4 Boise State football players rocking vehicles from Lithia Ford, as well as Paige Barsh from the volleyball team and Brooke Patterson from the women's golf team. The fall kickoff sale is going on today at Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online. View their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. For your next car or truck purchase, think Lithia Ford. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. All right, Jay, let's try again. Erik Chinander here. We're going to play him. If the audio is low, crank up your volume on your computer. I apologize. Let me know how it is. If it's so bad that you can't hear it, we'll stop it. But here's about 2 minutes of Erik Chinander talking about the defense.
Like any fall camp, there's been some ups and downs. There's been days where, we look like we should. There's been days where we haven't, and we got to get some things corrected, but the group's been really good, really been focusing on what the emphasis have been each practice, really trying to master these situations. The effort has been really, really good. We have not had a lack of effort yet. We haven't had to coach that as much as the past. I guess we'll say those kids have taken it upon themselves to really run to the football and bust their butts. Continuing to work on the tackling. We were not a good tackling team last year, so we're continuing to push the envelope there, and that's got to continue. But I'm happy with where they're at.
What about the turnovers, too? How are you feeling about that? It's coming along.
Yeah, so the turnovers, we came out really hot. We were taking the ball away like crazy early, and it's continued. The first 2 or 3 practices was really good as far as taking the ball away, and it hasn't dropped, but it's leveled off a little bit. So continuing to emphasize that, but I think the guys have a really good football knowledge right now, trying to take that ball away. Tips and overthrows have been going our way for the most part. We had one in the scrimmage that didn't, but the guys are really, really hunting the ball right now.
You may have just touched on it there, but is there one unit or one area where you feel like you guys have improved the most this fall, from spring to fall?
No, I think it's what we've seen out there. There hasn't been very many mental errors, and that's a testament to the position coaches and also the older group just not allowing that to happen out there. So there hasn't been a whole lot of, busts where we have to correct things. Not to say that there isn't errors, because there's always going to be errors and always things you got to correct, but there hasn't been a whole bunch of mental errors where guys couldn't get a check or guys couldn't adjust the coverage on motion. Those guys have done a really good job there. So I think that's probably the thing I've seen that's been the most standoutish to us on defense. And then, we're taking the ball away at a good click as well.
What about the pass rush, and I guess in particular trying to get somebody else other than just Ahmed, from the end spot?
Yeah, right now those guys are rushing really well. It's hard in practice because you can't sack the quarterback. So even, the thing that's always tough is like, it looks like a good rush, but can you make that in the game? So we need to see some more of that, and we've been drilling those guys, and once they get to the quarterback and scrambling that dude around, so they have to really work at it. But the pass rush right now has looked really good, both interior and exterior.
There you go, Jay. Kind of a quick, small update from Erik Chinander. And the turnovers is interesting. Those first couple of days of fall camp, they were getting a ton of takeaways. Yeah. He said it's level. He said it's not bad, but it's leveled off a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get 4 interceptions every practice. The defense, as Kent Riddle was talking about, and Riley Smith, like the first couple of days of fall camp, the defense sometimes will sneak and see the play script for the offense and be a little more prepared in terms of what's coming. So that's not a surprise that the defense started out faster. But it sounds like that the defense is, like I said, leveled off, still working on that. Also took away the tackling, as they said, wasn't good last year. Need to improve the tackling. But, it's, what are we, midway, I guess about midway through, quote unquote, fall camp. I know it's school starting. I don't know when technically fall camp ends. But, you're about, are we 2 weeks from, today's Wednesday, right? Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yeah.
So is that 2 weeks? Would that be officially 2 weeks in the books?
2 weeks in the books.
So as of tomorrow?
Yep.
So, I mean.
So that's halfway through.
You're not doing a ton of live tackling. You had the scrimmage. But, I mean, overall, I think the defense has been a lot to like.
Like I said, I agree. And it's just tough because, I've done this long enough, and I know that there are times in the preseason where we've really felt this way, and then maybe it doesn't always add up on game day. And there's the flip side of that too. Like, I don't know if they have enough, and then they're amazing. Like, I remember going back to the 2012 season, and Boise State lost all that NFL talent. Tyrone Crawford, Billy Wynn, Chase Baker. I mean, they were just loaded across the board. George Iloka. And going into the 2012 season, I was like, man, they got Mike Atkinson. They got Jamar Taylor. Like, Jamar was great, and so was Mike. But, like, they lost so much. And that was one of the best defenses the school's ever had. And so trying to project, like I said, can be hard this time of year. But my gut wants to believe it's real, man. Like, it does. Like, I just think you look at this defense now, and it's so funny. Like, you look back at the defense even a year ago, and you're like, man, who's gonna make a play today? Who's gonna do something? And it wasn't always obvious, but now it just feels like they do have some potential guys that can really wreck a game, whether it be Ahmed or Andrew Simpson. Some of those, Jeremiah Irby, we haven't talked about him yet, but I don't know. I don't think there's a guy on this team that has forced more turnovers than Jeremiah Irby. And when you look at cornerback, the cornerback position is not all about interceptions. I get it. But that is a position where they haven't produced like a ton of interceptions over these last few years. And if Jeremiah Irby can take what he's doing in practice and put it into a game,
sure,
I'll 5 picks this year for Jeremiah Irby. I'm going to throw it out there.
And then you talk about
if he can take it, it seems like he is going to put himself in a position to do that.
Yeah, and I do have one more clip from talking about the DBs and the D line from Erik Chinander here. But I mean, we're not even talking about a guy in Amarian McCoy, who Spencer Danielson said could be one of the best cover corners they've had here in a long time.
Yeah, I believe it. Like, he's such an awesome story. I mean, he comes here from a JC, and I can't remember exactly, BJ, but he weighed like 160 pounds or maybe less than that. And, by getting in here that semester, he was able to put on a bunch of weight and really start to play well. And then even over the course of last season, we saw this like tremendous jump in growth. And so when you're talking about like, have we seen the best version of Amarian McCoy yet? Like, I don't even think that we've been close to it.
Yeah.
And he was a preseason All Mountain West player on the media ballot earlier this year, right? And so, like that, I just.
And I think Markel Reed's looked pretty good. He's made some plays too.
And Markel Reed, like
Franklin Johnson Jr.
We talked about Franklin Johnson Jr. and I think that you kind of maybe phrased it best. Like if they didn't have all this experience coming in out of the transfer portal, or a 6th-year senior with a guy like Markell, like we would be talking more about Franklin Johnson Jr. as a guy that's probably going to contribute. But he's going to field side cornerback. Like he's absolutely going to be an impact in the future, if not at times this year.
Let's hear one more clip from Erik Chinander talking about that defensive back, starting off with those corners and that battle there, and then a question about the D-line as well.
There's good competition in that room. Obviously, Marion did a really nice job at the end of last season. Jeremiah Irby's come in, Banks has come in, DT's come back, Markell's come back. So there's a lot of good competition at those positions, and there's a lot of guys that I think can go in the football game, and we won't drop at all.
Have you even seen like Franklin Johnson make some plays? Like who are some young guys maybe just across the defense the first 10 days of fall camp here that have stood out to you?
No, Franklin's done a good job. He's a fast dude. He showed up on special teams. But he's done a really nice job. And there's just a lot of young guys. Max Steege has done a really nice job so far in camp. Jake Ripp's done a really nice job in camp. Lopez Sanusi had a good day today. Tavion Woodard's done a good job in camp. But there's just a ton of young guys that are playing at a high level.
How in a perfect world, how deep would you go on the D-line? And how do you feel like you have the depth that you want to have or need to have?
Yeah, I think you always have to, in any game, of those front four, you got to have 8. You got to be able to rotate those guys. That's just a different world, and you got to be able to have guys that you feel good where, if it's Ahmed, right? Ahmed's, you got to have a guy where if it's his 7th rep, the next guy in is going to be better than him for 1, 2, or 3, so we can get him a break. But when you're playing D-line, you're playing as hard as you can, you have to be able to rotate those guys through. So, you need to be at least 2 deep at every position. You'd like to be 3 deep.
Do you have that?
Yeah, right now I know we have 2 deep. We're trying to figure out who's those next guys that are getting on the bus.
Jay, as you just said, by the way, the sun is now coming out.
Beautiful.
It is an absolutely beautiful day. You can't see it because of the angle here, but the sun is now out. We can see I forgot the sky actually is blue.
Blue, yeah.
There is a blue sky, no smoke, and it's a nice little breeze, and we're probably in the, mid-70s right now.
What's up, Mr. Sun?
And,
good to see you again.
And yet we're going inside for the practice. Just the way it works.
Well, the cookie crumbles or whatever, but I don't know the last time I actually really enjoyed being outside. The smoke here is just sucked. It made the last, one of the more enjoyable times of the year here in Boise, Idaho, just tough to enjoy. So, but either way, we're back, it looks like. And hey, fair time, football season. Hot air balloons are going to be in the air a couple weeks from now. This is such an awesome, energetic time here in Boise.
We got some questions on the YouTube chat here. BSU Bill wants to know, do you think we'll see any packages with McCoy, Banks, and Irby on the field at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even talk about Banks. He's a new addition, so
Dude likes to talk some trash.
He does like to talk some trash, but Banks seems immensely talented, and he just arrived here, so he might be a guy that you have to be patient the first part of the season, but he's another one that at some point in time is probably going to come on and push for a lot of playing time. So they're pretty deep there, man. I like it.
Drew says, Jay, you better be rooting for Boise State over Washington State.
It's so funny. Everybody brings that up. It's maybe you should question my loyalty to my alma mater. It's game days are so freaking insane for me, and I mean us, whatever. You are so about what's next, how to get on a pregame show, how to finish a pregame show, get to the press box. I got to send out my tweets. I went to the Washington. Every Washington time they played Washington State, I've been there or watched them here.
Oh, the famous triple overtime game.
Yeah, exactly. Even that, as exciting as that was, it wasn't until I got back to my hotel room at 1 a.m. or whatever it was that I sat down and I was like,
it was later that night.
Man, that was actually a pretty crazy win by my alma mater. I promise you, that was the case. So it's going to be the same down here. I like Boise State's chances against my alma mater this year anyways.
Yep.
But it's usually kind of a non-factor. And then Sunday I wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, as I checking on how my Cougs did, that was that game that I covered last night.
Some folks are asking about Chris Marshall or Cam Camper interview. We are getting Cam Camper today.
Yep.
Group interview.
Yeah, and we were supposed to get him last week. Stuff comes up, not a big deal. Love the way Cam Camper practices. I think Cam Camper, if he stays healthy, is going to be a stud for this team. And what I've noticed out of him too is he's kind of bringing more than just whatever numbers he's going to put up. He practices with a little bit of an edge. He seems like one of those guys, BJ. He doesn't show a ton of emotion. He does show emotion, but just not an overwhelming amount of it. And if you look into his eyes at practice, man,
yeah,
he is like he is laser focused on whatever he has to do that day. And you know what? I know that I'm gonna tap dance around this topic because I think it's important to acknowledge it. But like sometimes guys they're not full go at practice, and maybe that was the case at some point in time this fall camp for Cam Camper. But what I think what I want to like pass out there and talk about though is how he was still a part of practice. He was down on the goal line training with Ben Hilgart, and even when he was removed from that, he stood right behind his receiver position when they were going through their drills and was right there. And when all the guys went to the other side of the field, he ran down to the other side of the field, stood right behind him. Like he was involved. He was there. I don't know if we're talking enough about Cam Camper at this moment. Honestly, it goes back to Indiana. He had some injury history. He has some injury history. If he stays healthy, I really like Cam Camper. I think that he brings a lot to the table.
And I think you could say the same for Chris Marshall.
Yeah.
Every day there is one or two plays where it's like, and again, I get it. It's a 2-hour practice. There's a whole game involved. And there's a lot of good receivers, but he is good for one or two. And I don't know if you're willing to tell your story, but he's good for one or two moments and highlight reel plays again.
I'll keep that one in the bag for now.
Okay.
But what I will say though is I'm right there with you, and it's I think that if they figure out the consistency piece with Chris, it's not day in, day out. It is down in, down out. If they figure out that, they got something there. And just you can't overlook that though. Like this team, especially Spencer Danielson and the culture that he's pushing, it's all in, it's invested, it's one for all, it's caring about each other. It's, what does he say? Love is an action and an action is a sacrifice. And so he is so much about that. And so if Chris gets to a point where he sustains this, man, every single play, like holy cow, he as BJ was saying, he'll do something every practice that just makes you go, whoa.
He even had it was a random 14-yard out yesterday where he just somehow one-handed the ball. He was going out of bounds. He's going, whoop, and then everyone's like, wow. It wasn't even like a super just a random 12-yard play in the scrimmage where he just reached one-handed it.
And that's why we're so doing our best while staying within the rules of what isn't embargoed at a practice. And we do have to abide by those. And so to emphasize what BJ said, he always makes you say, you look at him and go, oh, whoa, what was that? Like, that was amazing. But once we get once Boise State figures out the consistency piece, once Chris does for that matter too, it's not just Boise State. That could be just, I can't even put it into words really. Like that could be a really, really, really special thing for this team.
I want to talk about Tyler Crowe briefly. If you have any final questions or comments, get them in. We got a couple minutes left, but we're going to get to our final timeout here. Back in 2 minutes. Stick with us here on Bronco Nation News. The Treasure Valley freestanding Taco Bell stores are hiring. Check out TacoBellWorks.com to apply for a job. Great promotional opportunities, free food while you work, half your wages the next day after your shift. If you're looking for a new job, think Taco Bell. SON Management Group and the Nicolason family, and TacoBellWorks.com. Taco Bell serves up some of the best breakfast in the Valley. Try the breakfast sausage quesadilla, the breakfast California crunch wrap, the toasted breakfast sausage or bacon burrito, or the breakfast crunch wrap combo. Bronco Nation News thanks Taco Bell, the SON Management Group, and the Nicolason family for their support. Get more information on their impact on the community and apply for a job at TacoBellWorks.com. Check out the Blue and Orange Store for all your Boise State gear. The blueandorange.store.com has great deals on the latest hats, jerseys, sweatshirts, jackets, bumper stickers, car flags, and more. Get the latest Ashton Genty Heisman shirts, the NIL gear, coaches sideline apparel, and more. You have many options when it comes to buying your Boise State gear, but you won't find a better and bigger selection than the Blue and Orange Store. Thanks to Travis Hawks and company for their support. Return the favor and shop at the Blue and Orange Store and get ready for game day. Again, you can shop from anywhere online at theblueandorangestore.com or check them out the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall. The best way to start your day is at Jackson's. Step inside Jackson's food stores and discover convenience that goes beyond the pump. From fresh brewed coffee and delicious snacks to a wide selection of groceries and everyday essentials, we've got you covered. Jackson's supports Boise State through NIL deals for Ahmed Hassanin and Breezy Dubar. Don't forget, 25 cents from every hot dog purchase from a Treasure Valley Jackson store goes directly to the Horseshoe Collective. Snag that free banana when you buy a fountain drink, coffee, deli sandwich, or wrap. Find a location near you and sign up for Let's Go Rewards at jacksons.com. Check out Snake River Pool and Spa, Idaho's #1 local dealer for over 45 years. Whether it's a hot spring spa like the Rains family has, or a pool table, sauna, patio furniture, and more, check out Snake River Pool and Spa. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game are proud partner of Bronco Athletics, supporting the Broncos pools and spas. Check out the spateam.com for pricing, brochures, financing options, specials, and more. Whether it's a hot spring spa, a pool table, or an air hockey table for the game room, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game has it all. The Rains family recently purchased our hot spring Limelight Flash Spa, and we couldn't be happier with the purchase. The installation process was easy, and the spa was up and running in no time. Check out their full inventory and turn your dream into a reality at thespateam.com. All right, back here, Johnny Ballgame has graced us with his presence.
Yeah.
There was a question in the chat, who has the faster 40 time, you or Johnny?
I might need just like a couple weeks here. I'm not in the best shape.
You're not more aren't you more? You're not really a speed guy, though. Aren't you more power? And,
that's the funny thing. Everybody says that. There was a point in time in my life where I was a little bit of a speed guy. I played center field.
What was the fastest 40 you ever ran?
Fastest 40. We ran more 60s in once we got to college. So I think the fastest I ran was like a 6.8, maybe 6.77. I can't remember exactly.
Wow.
I would always whenever I'd go to these tryouts, I would always kind of like make like the final groups, or like the runoffs, and then there'd be the guy that would be running like the 6.5, 60 and just smoke me, and I'd be like, why'd I put myself in that position? Like,
sorry for the lighting here. The sun is starting to approach.
The sun's out. We already talked about it.
Yes, I guess it's worth it to have a bad angle here with the sun if it's worth it. But Tyler Crowe, two-part question. We're going to hear about him talking about the video game and that whole deal, and you can touch on that if you want to. But just overall, Tyler Crowe, his expected role in this offense, a sixth-year senior, a local kid, finally getting a chance. He's had injuries. He's had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Whenever he's been given a chance in what I would call mop-up duty for most of his action over the large majority of his career, he's done pretty well when given the chance. But it seems like, for whatever reason, whether it's injuries, whether it's whatever, like, he is going to be a key part of this offense this year. And for his former walk-on, local kid, it's a pretty cool story.
It might be because he's a local kid and I've covered him forever. It's funny. I was talking to Austin Bolt yesterday, and as we're wrapping up the interview, Austin goes, "Man, I've been doing interviews with you for like 7 or 8 years because I've covered these kids since high school, right?" And the same goes for a guy like Tyler Crowe. Yes. Tyler Crowe is one of my favorite players on the team. The guy embodies everything that you want Boise State football to be about. He's on time. He's early, not necessarily just on time. He's always prepared for anything. Who did he tell? I think he told Johnny, if he was a quarterback, like, he feels like he could run the offense. Just what did he say? Something to that effect.
Johnny's right there.
I'll ask him. We'll get Johnny. Johnny, get over here. But he said something along like he is so in tune and dialed in with this offense.
Yep.
And he works so hard. He is unfazed by circumstances. Something can be unfair. It doesn't matter. Tyler Crowe has the attitude to overcome it. I love everything about him. I talked with James Montgomery the other day about Tyler Crowe, and he just I wanted him to talk about Ashton Genty, which he did plenty, but he couldn't help himself but continue to bring up Tyler Crowe and don't overlook Tyler Crowe and what Tyler Crowe means to the leadership in his running back room. And I also asked him, man, because what we've seen so far at fall practice, he's still working with the running backs. Is this fullback thing real? He says it is. We just got to be a little patient, probably.
And the full interview is up on our YouTube channel. I asked Tyler Crowe, I said, "What position do we call you?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Football player."
Yeah. See, that's why I like Tyler Crowe. That is why I absolutely love Tyler Crowe, because he embodies that, man. If they made the super intense jock college football movie, Tyler Crowe could be a main character in it. He's awesome. And he's also the type of guy where if they did say, "Hey, Tyler, man, we need you to go out and play cornerback this week," he'd be like, all right, I'll figure it out. Like, I think he believes he can do whatever he needs to do to help this team know they're not going to ask him to play cornerback.
And then the final 20 seconds for you, kind of a raw deal that with the video game thing, but he's hoping. The biggest issue that he has, and again, if you don't know about this, you're going to hear it in a second, but he was not included in the game.
Yeah.
He did not get the $600.
Yeah.
He did not get the copy of the game, but yet they used his picture and his name to market the game all summer on the posters and things that they were doing it. So okay,
the silly thing with that is anybody that's on the team should get a free copy of the game. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't care if you're in the game, not in the game. Any college football player that's on an active roster should just be given a copy of the game. Like that should be like the baseline. That's so dumb.
Yep.
I know that it costs EA Sports money, but like, come on now. Like, there's not even a hard copy. Give them the digital copy. I mean, like, that costs you basically nothing.
Code to download.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Like, come on now. And that's what I think they got anyways, to be honest with you.
Yep.
But they should put them in the game on an update. Like this. EA Sports, you're going to look really, really silly when Tyler Crowe is like the talk of a game and you didn't even put him in the freaking game.
Well, let's hear from Tyler Crowe talking about the video game and him getting left out.
The video game.
So I don't really know what happened. They ended up using my name for the advertising and everything, and then they sent out an email like the day or two before it came out and said, like, you won't be in it. Like, they'll do updates close to the season when rosters get updated and everything, but I mean, Coach D talked to me. He said we had nothing to do with it, and it wasn't like us implementing them. It was just like they took the guys they wanted and whatever. And I mean, probably teams like Michigan and everything, they probably have it 100% correct. They didn't. They had a made-up player at right tackle. Didn't have Chris Marshall in the game. So it just is what it is. Just another motivating factor, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I think they originally had like Prince Strong or somebody as an offensive lineman.
Like Cam Camper. So maybe just not enough love for Boise State from EA, you know.
But they said that they're maybe going to update it.
They said in the little email they'll do updates close to the season as season goes on. So hopefully we're able to get in. You know, I'm a 6th year, so it's the last shot.
You're kind of taking it in stride, but was it a little disappointing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Me and Ben Ford both got left out, and we're both expecting to be in some pretty big roles, and we're upset about it, but it's nothing that we can control. You know, we got to control what we can. So yeah.
Do you still play the game even though you're not in now? Or do you
kind of
boycott it? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I was in a Twitch tournament with. I actually played like Alabama starting running back. I played BYU kid, a Missouri kid, so I still get to enjoy it, and don't have super bad feelings in my heart too much.
But your fingers crossed that they can correct or wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
There he is, Tyler Crowe. And again, Tyler Crowe, hoping when they update the rosters close to the season. I know there's some other numbers that need to be changed, a couple other things that could be better as well. So, we'll see. But to that's kind of a raw deal. Like, it's one thing if you don't want to put him in the game, but give him the $600 at least. If you're going to, I think you might have a case for some litigation or something. They're going to use his name and his image and his likeness and not, pay him for that. I mean, that's they put him as one of the key players when they made the posters and stuff about the game. So that just doesn't seem right, and hopefully that is corrected. Hey, shout out Bauscher Real Estate, Matt Bauscher. #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Again, no home too big or too small for Matt and his team. All your real estate needs. Make sure you check out Matt Bauscher at BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho. They got a couple in the surrounding states as well. ShopRidleys.com. Check them out, Ridley's Family Markets. And again, if you're heading up to McCall for that final time here before the weather turns or before football season gets going, check out their McCall location at Ridley's Family Markets. And again, transportation compliance service. You want to get in the trucking industry? TCS can help make that happen for you. All the permits and things you need. Check them out, transcomservice.com. And again, they're helping folks all over the world get those permits and things, whether it's an RV, a motorhome, whether it's a big rig. Let the professionals help take care of it for you at Transportation Compliance Service. Hey, Circa Sports, you want to go down to Las Vegas? We're going to be there a week from right now. I'm flying down to Las Vegas for their contest weekend. I cannot wait to get down to Las Vegas and our friends at Circa. But if you can't make it with us and you want to sign up, we can help you out. $1,000 entry fee. You can do the Survivor contest or the Millions. $10 million to Survivor, $1 million to the winner, $6 million in total prizes in Millions. So if you're interested, let us know. We'll sign you up, and you can play from anywhere in the world using our proxy, Tom Carroll. So it's just a small fee on top of the entry fee, and then Tom Carroll makes your picks each week. And this is 100% legal in terms of being able to play anywhere in the world. So you have to sign up in Vegas, but you can play from anywhere. And about 90% of the people in these contests actually do play from other states or areas that do not allow sports gambling in their state. So it's 100% legal with Tom Carroll. We'll hook you up. It's going to be awesome. And again, we do have a couple spots left. If you're interested, let us know if you want to come down with us to Vegas for the football game in October. Football game in October is going to be awesome, and we got some packages and some cool things you can do. It includes airfare, 2 nights hotel, a pregame party at Circa, transportation to and from the game. So if you're interested, let us know, and we'll hook you up for that trip as well. A couple of final comments here before we get into practice. Steve Caldwell. Shout out Steve Caldwell. I have no idea what he's up to these days. We will look into that for you as well. Again, tonight, 8 o'clock, Riley and Rid, presented by Jackson's. If you're in the Boise area, come have a beverage. You know what? If you show up for the Riley and Rid show tonight, your first beverage is on BNN. How about that? If you come hang out on the patio and you meet Kent Riddle, you meet Riley Smith, and you come hang out and watch the show, your first beverage is on BNN. So they got some good ones at the James, too. So the James Kitchen and Bar right across from the stadium. Come on out tonight, 8 o'clock. For Riley and Rid, and they're going to be on the patio doing the show live. Going to be a lot of fun. So if you can't make it, you don't live in the area, I get it. 8 o'clock tonight, they'll be live on YouTube. So Riley and Rid every Tuesday, presented by Jackson's. Check it out tonight at 8 o'clock. And then tomorrow morning, the debut officially of Brad Bedell, former Boise State offensive line coach. Brad Bedell has joined Bronco Nation News every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And we're still going to have Mike Sanford. We're still going to have Winston Venable. We're going to have some rotating guys come on along with Brad. But Brad will be there every Wednesday from now through the end of football season. And I can't wait for his insight and his jokes and his wittiness. But again, I know he got ripped on as the O-line coach, but you listen to Brad Bedell talk, like, he knows football, and he's also not afraid to be critical or negative when need be. So I am super, super excited to have Brad Bedell on the BNN team. And again, that'll be tomorrow at 9 a.m., his first appearance as part of the Bronco Nation News team. And by the way, shout out to Alex Martin, former Boise State basketball player, the brother of Cam Martin, 417-629-6832. If you got a birthday party coming up and you need one of those bounce houses, they also do full landscaping, lawn and landscape. 208 Lawn and Landscape is Alex Martin's company. So if you're looking to do some yard work or special projects in terms of tree trimming or sprinkler systems, or if you want to get on a regular kind of weekly maintenance and have him cut your grass and things like that and rake the leaves this fall, I highly recommend Alex Martin, 208 Lawn and Landscape. Check them out. 417-629-6832, Alex Martin. And again, he also has about 10 of these bounce houses he can rent out. And if you're looking for a birthday party or something fun, highly recommend them. They are great options for the kids. Somebody is asking about BNN After Dark coming back. We'll see. And again, the sun is now out, and so that probably means it's time to get into practice here. But the sun is out, and I have to keep moving the camera here. But we're going to get into practice. And we'll get you some highlights from the Inferno practice. We got some interviews coming up after practice. Cam Camper is talking with the media today. We'll get that posted after practice. Some other players as well. I'm going to go sweat off a couple of pounds. Hopefully the Inferno practice is upon us. Again, they turned up the heat. They turned up the humidity, and it's going to be a practice to get them ready for Georgia Southern today in full pad. So appreciate you guys for joining us. Another record viewership today. Please pay the $50 if you can. Help us out. You get a daily email, a lot of other exclusive content. You can read my work, Mike Prater's work. I got a story coming this afternoon. So help us out if you can. BNN 50 deal is that promo code at BroncoNationNews.com. BNN 50 deal is the promo code at BroncoNationNews.com. But at worst, for free, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button here on YouTube, and help us grow the channel, and tell your friends if you can. So appreciate you. Hope to see some of you tonight at 8 o'clock for Ball Talk. Ball Talk starts next week. Tonight is Riley and Rid, Kent Riddle and Riley Smith. They're coming tonight at 8 o'clock live from the James. We'll see you at the James, or we'll see you on YouTube tonight at 8. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. with Brad Bedell. But again, stay tuned to our social media channels. Tons of coverage coming throughout the day from practice and interviews. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks again from the Western Collective Studios. Our title sponsor, of course, roepaint.com, roepaint.com. Help them out, support them, and help us keep this thing going. So all your painting projects, all your painting needs, check out our title sponsor, roepaint.com. And again, from the Western Collective Studios, appreciate you. We'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News Live. Go subscribe to bronconationnews.com.